Are you frustrated with your progress on your goals for 2024? And today we're going to look at why and how to help ourselves out of that frustration in a way that supports forward movement and progress.
Hey, I'm Jennifer, a life coach certified by Tony Robbins, and you've found Consider Jennifer. My passion is to show you the power you have to live the life you deserve by taking the time to consider your life so that you can be on purpose with making it happen. Consider your life, be on purpose.
Hey everyone, thank you for tuning in. I am Jennifer Meyer, and this is Consider Jennifer, the place we take time to deeply consider our lives so we can be on purpose with decisions to experience the life that we want. I appreciate you being here today, and I hope you are having a tremendous year so far. Be sure to like, comment, and subscribe if you enjoy this content. It really, really helps me out. So today I want to share with you a deeper dive into something I hinted at in my Word of the Year post from January, and it's centered around the idea of self-compassion. So let's look at what self-compassion is, how it helps us, and ways you can start to practice this in your life right now. And what is self-compassion, right? It's exactly what we think it is. It's showing ourselves compassion. It's being kind to ourselves. Think of how you treat a friend and then treat yourself like that. That's what self-compassion is. I think that it's more important to focus on what self-compassion isn't, right? It's not self-esteem. It's not thinking you're better than others or that you can do everything right. Those things people can be afraid of. It's not about lying to yourself about who you are or what you do, and more importantly, how you feel. Dr. Kristen Neff is a researcher that works with the University of Texas in Austin, and she's actually identified 3 components of self-compassion: mindfulness, common humanity, and kindness. And you need all 3 of these components in order to really be self-compassionate. And that's awesome because those 3 things keep you from the pitfalls of self-esteem, right? Having an inflated ego and being an asshole, thinking that you're better than everybody else, which nobody is. Because self-compassion includes mindfulness, it means you see things for what they truly are. Yourself for what you truly are. Faults, failures, shortcomings, all of it. It reminds me a little bit of what I think Brene Brown would probably say about being vulnerable with yourself. Like, can you lean into that? Can you be okay that it's there? Now, the common humanity piece keeps us empathetic to others, right? It's not us at the expense of other people. We aren't above or better than, and we remember that everyone is struggling in some way with something because we're human, and it's remembering that pain is pain. Nobody wants it, and we all have it. So it honors that common humanity, really honors that truth. And I'm sure kindness is, very obvious, but it's how you talk to yourself, how you meet your needs in a moment of stress or pain. I mean, are you being kind to you? Are you being kind? So, and I was trying to think of an example to kind of put these 3 components together, and I'm really terrible at math. I know this about myself, right? Mindfulness. And it really caused me a lot of pain and frustration while I was in college, right? So mindful. Now, someone without self-compassion might not think they're bad at math and that their scores are unfair or it's the teacher's fault. Or they might think that life is not worth living because they are the only person in the world who struggles with algebra. Or somebody without self-compassion might feel that they're a complete failure at life because they can't pass calculus, right? That's how a non-compassionate person would be with themselves, self-compassionate person. Instead, self-compassion says, I know math sucks, and I know you're not strong with it. There are a lot of people that aren't good with math. And I know that being bad at math makes you feel like you're not smart or good enough to be in college, But you are smart, Jenny, and you're in college because you can do the work. So you're going to give it your best shot, and you remember that your geology scores are incredible, and you'll get through this. Right now, just take a deep breath, give yourself a hug, and remember that this isn't all that you are. Love you. That is self-compassion. And I hope it's self-evident why it's important and how it helps. I mean, the alternative to self-compassion or talking to yourself like that, and certainly this is what many of us do, is to completely destroy ourselves for our shortcomings. But I can promise you that you will not perform better if you are telling yourself you are a hopeless idiot and that you can't do anything right. That doesn't motivate anyone. Nobody performs better when they feel that way, which, take a moment, make sure you're not talking to your kids or your wife or your spouse or your husband or whoever like that too, right? So let's put this into practical application. How are your goals going this year, right? Are you knocking them out of the park? Are you behind? Did you completely fall off the wagon? So if you remember from my January post, I talked about why I like tracking my goals in a particular way. And my real goal is the word of the year. And this is why. So that when I get to March or April, I don't feel like a complete failure if things are not working out the way that I wanted them to. It's setting up my environment so it's easier to have compassion for myself. And I definitely needed it this year for sure. There were some crazy, unexpected things that came through, and I totally needed to shift gears. How did that self-compassion show up for me? Well, mindfulness. I remembered my word of the year, which is integrity. My fitness goals weren't the focus. My financial goals were not the focus. Hell, my business goals weren't the focus. Integrity was the focus. And I really feel like I have done a good job in acting with integrity. Common humanity? Well, I did not act with integrity perfectly because no one is perfect. I did fall short a few times. And when I did, I sat with that until I understood why I was acting out of integrity, and then I offered myself grace about it. I told myself that creating change, especially behaviorally, takes time and it's hard. I don't know a single person on the planet that doesn't struggle with changing behavior. And plus, no one can control life. Things happen. I can't make everything different. No one can. And we can't plan for every possibility. I did my best. We all do. Kindness was, I allowed myself to be disappointed. This wasn't fake myself into a good mood situation. It was honoring the fact that I was kind of pissed off that I hadn't gotten done what I wanted to do. I allowed myself to cry for a little bit. I held myself. I talked very kindly to myself, and I reached out for support from friends when I needed it. Those are the few ways that it showed up for me as it relates to my goals over the course of 2024. And I want to point out something really important in that short little list. What I said to myself was the biggest practice. And that takes time and effort to change because my first thought wasn't, it's okay, Jenny, you did your best and you can learn from this. My first thought was generally, damn it, why can I not get this right? Why am I struggling with this? Why is this so hard? I really had to stop myself from talking harshly and critically to myself when something didn't go the way that I wanted it to go. And that is probably the place we need to spend the most time practicing. Turning off that automatic narrative is so hard and it's so important. It sets the stage and framework for a foundation to be compassionate with yourself. Okay, so really quick, just a couple of other ways that you can show yourself some compassion. First of all, it always starts with asking yourself what you need. And if that's reasonable and possible, do it. Do it. You don't have to sacrifice yourself. If you need to take a break from work and go for a walk, go for a walk and take a break from work. That's reasonable and possible. Do the thing. Focus on soothing your body. Often we're really in our heads and we're thinking a lot. And often, especially when we're in pain or we're stressed or there's anxiety, what's going on in our brains is not helpful. So if we can bring ourselves into our body and change our physiology, it can help us. And that is a self-compassionate thing to do. Gentle touches on your arms or your face, wrapping yourself in a hug, or rocking your body gently. These things release feel-good hormones that can help settle upsetting feelings, and weighted blankets are amazing for this. So if you're into that and you enjoy them, I highly recommend. And a third thing you can do is to write yourself a letter. This is really helpful in stopping the automatic narrative from taking over in your brain. Because when you're writing, you're not able to talk to yourself differently than what you're putting on paper. And then read that letter out loud to yourself when you're done as many times as you need to, in order to remind yourself how you would talk to a friend. Address the letter to you and pretend you're talking to a friend if they were having the same problem you were having in that moment. It's really, really helpful. Last thing I want to mention is get support. Being self-compassionate, I think that word self can sometimes infer that we're supposed to do this all by ourselves, like we're supposed to do it alone. But this does not mean go it alone. It means giving yourself what you need and being kind to yourself when you need it. If you need a friend, call a friend. I mean, if you want to talk to your mom, call your mom. Support and connection is so important to us. In fact, Dr. Neff talks about how isolation can actually make it harder to be self-compassionate. So connection and support are super, super important. So those are a few ways that you can be kind and compassionate to yourself. And I really think that this is important. I think we all need to spend some time doing this. Honestly, I think it's kind of getting to a moral imperative at this point. And maybe if we're a little kinder to ourselves, we will remember to be more kind to each other. It seems like there's a lot of anger out there, and everybody could use a great big hug, including you. So if you're interested in learning more about self-compassion, I encourage you to go check out Dr. Neff's stuff on selfcompassion.org. I've got a link and a list of other authors that talk about this stuff in the description for the video. I really do want to know your goals for the year. Please let me know how they're going, how you're doing. Be sure to comment and subscribe if you like the content. And until next time, everybody, consider your life, be on purpose.